Assalamu alaikum. 1 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Qazi. First, the headlines. Pakistan says Afghan problem can only be addressed through dialogue. Interior Minister has called for collective efforts to address root causes of radicalization and extremism. Chairman Senate says regional stability is vital for economic development of ECO member states. Pentagon has restricted release of critical information on progress being made in the war in Afghanistan. And now the news in detail. Pakistan has said that Afghan problem can only be addressed through dialogue. Foreign Office spokesman in an interview with Radio Pakistan's Current Affairs channel said Pakistan supports all peace initiatives that are owned and led by Afghans. The spokesman said quadrilateral consultative group involving Pakistan, Afghanistan, China and the United States would be the most appropriate forum to take the peace process forward. To a question, he said military solution has totally failed in Afghanistan. He pointed out that all sorts of weapons and ammunition were used in Afghanistan during the last 17 years. The spokesman said all issues of the region should be sorted out through dialogue. He emphasized the need for addressing Pakistan's concern about Afghan issue. Interior Minister Ahsan Iqbal has emphasized the need for collective efforts to address the root causes of radicalization and extremism. He was addressing a ceremony in connection with the launch of book on the role of madrasas in Islamabad today. He pointed out that the issue of radicalization is not confined to this region alone, but the youth in Europe are also joining the terrorist groups and fighting in Syria. The minister said pointing fingers will not help address the issue but further complicate the matters. He said the Western world will have to fulfill its responsibility and have to show the same kind concerns for the Muslims of Kashmir, Palestine and Myanmar, which they demonstrated for East Timor and South Sudan.
We need to look at reforms in madrasas. We are already undertaking reforms. And from Planning Commission, we gave 4 projects to Ministry of Education. One was about curriculum, second was about teacher training, examination reform, but 4th was about madrasa reform. So there are now, I think, more than 100 madrasas where they have introduced new modern curriculum along with their traditional curriculum. And that model is now, we are scaling up because it has been very successful and many madrasas are wanting to copy it.
Chairman Senate Mia Raza Rabbani says cooperation among ECO member states is imperative for shared prosperity. He was addressing 3rd ECO Attorneys and Prosecutors General Conference in Islamabad today. The chairman said Pakistan strongly condemned the recent terrorist attacks in Kabul. He said regional stability is vital for the development in the area. He emphasized the need for promoting national and international cooperation against human traffickers and smugglers. A 5-member bench of the Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice Saqib Nisar, began hearing of petitions regarding interpretations of Article 62(1)(f) of the Constitution with a view of a certain period of disqualification of the member of the Parliament. The court had issued notices to former Prime Minister Mohammad Nawaz Sharif and former MNA of PTI Jahangir Khan Tareen for appearance in person or through counsel. As no one appeared on behalf of Mohammad Nawaz Sharif, the court issued another notice to him for appearance in the case. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has issued a police notice asking any person, including any voter or member or leader of any political party who may consider it likely to be affected by the decision of the court, should appear before it. All parties Hurried conference reacting to the recent assertions of Indian Army Chief and BJP leaders has said that Indian Army and political leadership wants to kill every soul in occupied Kashmir. An APHC spokesman in a statement issued in held Srinagar criticized the continuous silence maintained by the world community over the Indian leadership's design in the occupied territory. He said that India's tall claim to be the largest democracy of the world was nothing but hoax as the country's political and military leadership and fascist mindset. The Pentagon has restricted the release of critical information on the progress being made in the war in Afghanistan. The Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction has published a quarterly report that includes unclassified data on the amount of territory controlled or influenced by the Taliban and the government. Russian-sponsored diplomatic talks for finding a political solution to Syrian crisis have begun in Sochi city. Meanwhile, the main opposition bloc, the Syrian Negotiations Commission, boycotted the conference by terming it an attempt to undercut the United Nations' effort to broker a deal. At least 11 people were killed today in a suicide car bomb attack on a checkpoint backed by the United Arab Emirates in southeastern Yemen. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log in on to our website radio.gov.pk.